Have you ever been in an interview and been asked, how old were the children you worked for in 2019? And you say, I can't remember, 2 and 4 maybe? This is not the right answer to that question. Today we're going to go over the 5 ways to prepare for your nanny interview so you don't get caught in this situation. If we haven't met before, I'm Michelle Kelsey, founder of the Nanny Solution by Nannies on Call. Each week I bring you new videos to get better jobs and make more money. Let's dive right into it. We've gone over this before. There are still video interviews happening and you need to be 100% prepared. I cannot tell you how many nannies still email after 2.5 years of doing video interviews and say, I can't get it to work, or I don't know what's happening, or I'm not good with technology. That is no longer an excuse. You need to be 100% prepared for your interview. And that means understanding and learning the technology before the time of your interview. Whether you're interviewing with an agency or a family, you test it out, you call a friend, you use it at home. If you're not good at it, test it out 5, 6, 7 times before the interview. You need to know inside and out how to make that technology work. Remember, it's not just about the interview. If you're interviewing with a family and you can't get the technology to work, what if one of their job requirements is having you FaceTime or Zoom call grandma and grandpa in another country once a week? What if you're supposed to set that up? Technology is part of our lives now, and you really have to understand how to use it. And it's not just technology. We've gone back to personal interviews, which we love. We love nannies and families getting together in person. It's much easier than video interviews. So if you're going to an in-person interview, you need to know where you're going, how long it's going to take you, at the time of day your interview is. If you test run it and go from your house to the job interview site, and it takes you 30 minutes, but that was at 10 a.m. on a Monday and you're going at 5 p.m. on a Friday, they are going to be very different traffic situations. So make sure you know where you're going, how long it's going to take you to get there, and have a plan for parking or transit if that's how you're getting there. But pre-run it, because being late or not showing up to your nanny interview is a surefire way to not get a second chance at interviewing with that family or that agency. Number 2, and this is what I was talking about in the very beginning, know your resume inside and out. I cannot tell you how many nannies I interview who tell me, I'm not sure, I can't remember the exact dates. You knew this interview was happening at this day and time. Prepare. Go over your resume inside and out. If you're doing a video interview, you can have that resume next to you. Even if you're doing an in-person interview, you can have it there. But it's your life. It's your history. There's no excuse for not knowing how old the children were, where you worked, and how long you worked for someone. When you're unsure in the interview, it leaves me and families questioning whether that's truth or a lie, and it's just a made-up resume. Know your resume inside and out. The top nannies always do. Tip number 3, have all your paperwork ready before the interview. That doesn't mean you have to send it. You don't have to pre-send it if you're not sure if you're going to be working with this family or the agency. I understand that you're interviewing the family or the agency as much as they're interviewing you, so you don't have to have it. But when I ask you during an interview, do you have your CPR and first aid? And you say, yeah, I do. I don't know if it's expired or not, and I don't know where it is. I'll have to see if I can find it. You knew you were interviewing today. Be prepared. Know where it is. Know if it's valid. Criminal record check, references, you're applying for a nanny job. All of these things should be prepared prior to interviewing with the family. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You need to be prepared if you want to get that job. Tip number 4, know who you're interviewing with. I know it can be a little harder in private situations because not all families you don't have access to them. So even if you Google them, not that much might come up. But I'll give you an example. This isn't a specific nanny example, but I interviewed someone for an office position once. And at the end of the interview, I asked, do you have any questions for me? And they said, yes. How do you like working for Nannies on Call? I own the company. What do you mean? How do I like working for Nannies on Call? So you don't want to get caught asking those questions. That shows they did nothing, because if you go to our website and spend 2 seconds, you can see there's a founder story. There's no excuse. Google the family, see if you can find anything about them online. If they're high profile, it's much easier to know about them and their family. Try and do as much research about them ahead of time. If you can't find out anything about them, And you don't live in the neighborhood, try and research the neighborhood, the community centers, the parks, things to do, so that you come in with knowledge about the situation, knowledge about the family or where they live. Number 4, and stay till the end because I actually have a bonus tip. So there'll be 6 tips in all. Number 4 is have full answers ready. So prepare and practice your answers. If I say, what's the youngest you've worked with? And you say to me, 6 months. And crickets. That's, yes, it's answering the question, but it's not a full answer. The answer is, the youngest I've worked with is 6 months. I had the opportunity to work with a baby when I worked my nanny job in 2019. I stayed there for 2 years. That's a full answer. You want to say if you're comfortable, if you love working with babies, that you have experience with bottle feeding or diaper changing. We want full answers, not just yes, no, and 2-word answers. So if you're not good at that, practice, practice, practice. Number 5, and we've talked about this before, is have questions ready. If you're not good on the spot and you're not really sure, maybe they answer all the questions during the interview, which does happen, you want to have a list of questions that you can ask in any situation. And they're anything that's important to you. So make sure you come prepared with a list of questions. Some of them might get answered during the interview, but hopefully you'll be left with a few that you can ask at the end of the interview. And the bonus tip is, when you're preparing for your nanny interview, if you get another job, get sick, decide you're no longer interested in this position, cancel the interview. You may not be interested now. You may have another job opportunity. You may have gotten another job or are no longer interested. But by not showing up at the job interview and not canceling beforehand, you ruin your chances in the future. If this agency or the family is looking again and you think, oh, now's the perfect time, they are not going to hire you because you did not show up your interview. Have the respect of people's time to cancel. So when you're prepping for the interview, no, 100% I'm going, or no, actually, I should cancel. This isn't the right fit for me. If you have to cancel, you don't have to say anything specific other than, thank you for setting up the interview. Unfortunately, I'm not able to make it. I need to cancel. No excuse needed. Don't need to overshare. How do you prepare for your nanny interview? Did any of these tips help? Let me know below so that other nannies can learn from you too. Have a great week.